Hello and welcome to the Ultimate Tutor Planner. In this video, I'm going to walk you through each part of the planner, how to use it, and anything you need to be aware of. If there is anything I didn't mention in this video or you have any questions that weren't answered, feel free to contact me following the contact link near the navigation over here. Also, there will be video guides in each section in case you forget anything from this video. Okay, let's get started. To begin, I'm going to quickly give a general overview of how this template is designed to work. So the template starts with a database for all of your students. Adding your student information would be the first step to using this planner. Then you create a set of lessons for each student. The Tutor Planner specializes in creating individual lesson plans for each student. So each student will have a set of lessons that are tagged to them. This also works with a small group of students as well. After you have your student information and lesson details, it's just about booking those appointments using the built-in calendar. Once you have an appointment, you can click into the appointment page where you can access all of the students' information, general notes, or additional media you need. You also have quick access to the students' lessons, so you never need to remember where you left off in the student's lesson progress. On top of that, the Ultimate Tutor Planner also allows you to keep track of detailed student note-taking and invoicing for lesson payments. Okay, that was the quick general overview. Now let's go into each section in more detail. For each section, I will show you what the section is for, how to use the section, along with an example and any other things you need to be made aware of. Okay, let's get into it. The first section we have is the appointments section. This is a complete database of where you have your lesson appointments with your students. So whenever you create an appointment, let's create a sample one here, new appointment. Whenever you create an appointment, you must tag a student. Let's just tag sample student here. So it's important that you add your students first when getting started with the planner. If you teach 2 or more students at a time, you can tag all of the students that are involved. Then you need to select a date and time for your appointment. You can click include time here and then select time. You can also add a location as well. You don't have to use this and you can change it as you wish. You can also add properties if you want as well. So you can add any additional properties that you might want to include that can help you filter out your appointments. Just don't delete the student and date property, as these are really important inside the planner. When an appointment is completed, you can click on the checkbox here, and this will complete it. And then we have 2 tabs at the top here, one for all. This will show all of our appointments that are not completed. And then we have a completed tab as well. If we click into one of these appointment pages, this will open up the appointment page. The first thing we have on this appointment page is access to our student information. If we click our student here, it kind of pulls in a little side view of all of our student information. On this page, we have a few different views. We have an overview where we can see the students' appointments, all of their lessons, their notes, and any invoices they have. If we come back to the top here, as well as overview, we also have a quick view for all of the students' lessons and all of their notes as well. If we come back to the appointments page, we also have an additional area for appointment notes and resources. Now, this is optional since you will probably want to have all of your lesson materials ready on the actual lesson page, which you can access from the student information over here. If you teach on a computer with a tablet or some kind of device with you, having this page open during your teaching session would probably be a good idea. Here we have the appointments calendar page. So the calendar page is just the calendar view of all of your appointments. You can see all of your appointments by either month or by week. Now on these calendar views, you can drag and drop appointments pretty easily if you wish. Clicking on one of the dates here, you can also quickly create appointments, and this may be easier than from the spreadsheet in the All Appointments section. Here we have the section for all of your students. This is called the student list section. This is where we can store and organize all of your student information. On the first, we have a few tabs here that we need to explain. On this first tab here, we have a property for profile picture. This isn't necessary, but it's kind of nice to have as well. We also have a place for phone number and email. On this alerts tab, we can see when the students have their next appointment and if they have any unpaid invoices. You can also click into the appointment or the invoice just by clicking on it like so. The final tab is called the Profile tab. This is just a view of all of your student profile pictures that you have added. If we click into one of the students, we can see that we have all of the relevant information that is linked to them. So we have 4 key parts of information that are linked to students. We have the student appointments here. We also have all of their lessons that are tagged to them. We also have notes as well as invoices. We also have additional views at the top here that kind of filter out the information a little bit more. So we have lessons and notes as well here. To create a new student, we can click on New Page in any one of these tabs. If we go to Info here, we can click on New Tab and then type in our new student and add in all of the relevant information. The Notes section is for keeping detailed notes of your students over time. This could be anything related to feedback, progress, behavior, parent information, or whatever you want to keep track of. The best way to create a note would be to actually go into the student profile and find the notes section. Let me show you what that would look like here. If we open up a student here, we can access the notes section to the student on the overview page, or at the top tab here, we can view notes, and then we can click and create a note just by clicking on New Page. Make sure to select the appropriate category by clicking on Type here, as this could help you filter notes later down the line. You can create a short note by typing directly into the title here, participated well in class. Or you can create a longer note by opening up the actual page itself. It's completely up to how you want to take your notes. It's completely up to your own preference. The subjects section is for creating our lesson subjects. So subjects are essentially folders for our lessons. If we click into one of these subject pages, we get a better view of all of the lessons tied to this subject. So here we can see all of the lessons tagged to this particular subject called TOEFL Lesson Prep. We also have a view of lessons that are grouped by student as well. This may seem like a bit of organization overkill, but having lessons and subjects organized this way works really well at scale. When you have 20, 50, or maybe even 100 lessons in the same subject tied to different students. Similar to all the other sections, you can create a new subject just by clicking on New Page here. We can then go inside the subject and start by adding lessons to the subject by clicking on New Page. After subjects, we have the lesson page itself. So the lesson database only has 2 properties. It has a property for subject and one for student. So like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this planner is designed specifically for creating individualized lesson plans. So tagging single lessons to a student is optimal. We also have different views of lessons grouped by subject and lessons grouped by student. When you start having hundreds of lessons, you may need to start using these filters more strategically, or just going to the subject section to create your lessons as well. You can edit the filters by coming up here and adding your own custom filter. You can also add in your own properties as well to your lessons, as long as you don't delete subject or student. Let me demonstrate quickly how creating lessons might work. We would start by creating a subject. Let's say we create a subject for TOEFL speaking. TOEFL is Test of English as a Foreign Language for English language learners. So we'll click create our subject here. We can then open up our new subject, and then we can begin by creating lessons for this subject. Maybe we have speaking task 1. We'll create another, call this speaking task 2, and then we can tag our students. There we go. Then once we have finished creating the lesson entry and tagging the student, we can open up the lesson page and then start adding in our lesson content. This is the template lesson page. We have a section for lesson overview, objectives, lesson outline, and then some lesson resources. Here you can upload any resources for your lessons like videos, bookmarks, files, whatever. The invoice page is for keeping track of all of your student payments. You can get as complicated as you want with invoicing, with custom payment types and payment automations, but I made sure to keep this straightforward and relatively easy to use. Then you can add onto it as much as you wish. For each invoice, you need to tag a student, give it a date, and then set an amount. If you want to keep track of billed hours as well, you can also do that by opening up the page and then editing the billed hours property here. When an invoice payment has been made, make sure to click the paid button here. To view your invoices, we have 2 tabs. We have a not paid tab and then also a paid tab. To view individual student invoices, you can also go to the student page here. Let's click into Emily. We'll come over to Overview. We scroll down to the bottom. We can also see all of our students' invoices, not paid and paid as well. Creating an invoice is pretty simple. We can come to the Not Paid tab here and just click on New Page at the bottom of the invoice database and enter all of the relevant information, invoice date and the amount. Lastly, we have the resources page. Here we can save and store any useful files, bookmarks, or contacts. On the file page here, we have a property for storing media. So if you have the free version of Notion, I believe there is a file size limit to single uploads, so be aware of that. But this can be a helpful section for adding in kind of any files instead of keeping them in a Google Drive folder. Bookmarks can also be good for keeping track of useful websites and links. If you have a Chrome extension called Save to Notion, you can also connect the Save to Notion Chrome extension to this bookmarks database here to quickly save web URLs and websites that you want to keep track of. And then finally, the contact section can just be used to keep track of emails and phone numbers. Okay, and that's it for the Ultimate Tutor Planner tutorial. I hope you enjoy using it, and if you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out by clicking on the contact link below the navigation here on the homepage. If at any point you need help with a section, you can click the section help button above the main databases, and this will pull up the video segment specifically for that section. Thank you, and make sure to leave a review here if you have anything to say about the planner. All of your feedback helps me enormously improve these templates and make sure teachers have the best system available to them. Thanks again, and enjoy!